top. Live from.
All right, welcome to Film Nerds. I am James,
What's up, everybody? I'm Theo.
and welcome to another episode of the movie review. uh, Today is February the 6th, and today the movie we'll be talking about. I mean, of course, by now y'all see the title, but it's the Marriage Story. I have heard a lot of good things about it. I know it's been nominated for several awards, which I'm gonna get into in a moment. But before then,
Was this a request? Why you doing any of it?
nah,
Okay.
nah. It was something I was wanting to watch anyways. You know, I just feel like, why do it now? But before we start, pour me my Henny. Probably have enough for one more episode, you know. But anyways, it's Marriage Story, not the Marriage Story. It's a 2019 drama film written, directed, and produced by Noah Baumbach.
Yeah, his name was pretty easy. I should have wrote it down.
Yeah, he has done numbers of lower budget films, like movies on this kind of caliber. Even though most of his movies tend to be drama comedy.
Yeah,
Whatnot.
I didn't see the comedy in this movie.
Yeah, like this one wasn't really comedy, but like with most of his older films, it has that.
Right,
You know,
I noticed that. Yeah,
yeah.
because I thought Kicking and Screaming, his first movie, I thought that was the soccer one with Will Ferrell. So I was like, oh, okay, I did see his work. Then I looked it up. I was like, no, I never seen this.
Now, like I haven't seen actually any of his films, but from looking them up, a lot of his films deal with uh how should I put it? Kind of like I don't want to say real life because like technically movies it should be about real life, but
Very close to home.
yeah, real close to home stuff like marriage, relationships, growing up, coming of age, things of that nature, you know.
Yeah, this movie is very close to home.
But the movie stars Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson, Laura Dern, and Ray
Lohada.
Liotta, you know. But back in November, the movie was released back in November the 6th. It had a limited theater release before moving on to Netflix. Well, it was always going to be released by Netflix, but it had a small release. Just it was I believe it was a move, so it could be like nominated for awards.
Oh, okay.
You know, like I think moving forward we could see a lot of that with movies that gonna be released to Netflix may have a small release, so they can kind of get recognized by the Academy. Because Netflix do have some pretty good movies,
Right.
you know, but I think a lot of times they get overlooked because it's Netflix
Yeah.
and stuff like Hulu whatnot. But
That would be nice. I mean, with everything coming out with these apps, it would be nice for people to. Because I'm tired of everybody expecting so much from these big award shows, and it's like all we got to do is just make one for this niche. So make one for films on Hulu, Prime, direct to video, all these type things. They can easily do that.
they could, but like I feel like movies are movies regardless on the platform, you know.
But you already know these people have certain, like you said, should they have to go to film when it is a film?
I mean, theater.
Yeah. So, but if that's their criteria that it has to go to theater, then some movies can't always go that are good. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because a lot of movies do have that, I guess, budget.
Right. And
You know,
then these two had top, well, with
top
Star
billing.
Wars, yeah,
Yeah.
top billing. They kind of might had to do that to generate more money, but that's what I'm saying. Like we
Yeah.
have a lot of movies that can't do that,
That's true.
because that costs. But it would still help, like especially with Netflix. Even that is something that Netflix could do. Just do the app movie awards, because people are going to watch it. I mean, if they're doing concerts,
Mm-hmm.
like free concerts on these platforms, why can't they do an award show?
Yeah, that's true. I guess that's something that we can
Because I mean,
discuss on.
Kids Choice Awards, People's Choice Awards, Nickelodeon Choice Awards, people literally vote off the internet. So people that got Netflix, it's easy for them to put a banner. Hey, don't forget to vote for your best platform and stuff like that, and it benefits,
True.
because everybody will still get recognized, even if it's an Amazon Prime, and even though the show is on Netflix, you know.
Well, but the movie is nominated for well, it has 6 nominations for Best Picture, Best Actor and Actress, which is Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. Best Supporting Actress with for Laura Dern, and Best Original Screenplay.
That was a girl, right? The
Laura Dern was the female lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah, and she also plays in Last Jedi. She was the general, the one who make the sacrifice with the purple hair.
That was her.
Yeah, that was her.
Oh wow. Okay.
And for the old heads, she also um she was Dr. Ellie in Jurassic Park.
Oh okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I can see it now in
yeah.
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Shoot. But the movie is pretty much about Charlie, played by Driver, who is a successful theater director, and his wife Nicole, played by Johansson, who was once a teen actor, now turned theater actor. I guess that's the proper
You say thespian.
yeah thespian. Who stars in Charlie's Theater. It deals with their failing marriage and the life going through divorce. And that's pretty much all the movie's about. It's just a look into their life as they try to move on and and go through this rough patch in their life. So, where you want to start?
I want you to start.
Okay, so one of the things let's start with the plot. One of the things that I enjoyed about the plot of the movie is like I like how I like the gravity of it. It's very emotional. It has a very heavy toll, and I feel like it depicts a very realistic. Probably not in every single case, but in a lot of cases on what couples go through when they go through divorce. You know, even though I have no experience or went through, even as a child, this kind of thing, but like I just like how it how I forget his name, the director.
Noah.
Yeah, Noah uh, focuses the story on the characters on both sides and how how divorce kind of impacts both of them, and not only them but the child, and the people around them, you know, like it like it just feels not I don't want to say surreal, but it just feels like I said, not in every case, but if I feel like a lot of people can relate, and put themselves in those characters' shoes, and or like, and not even if, probably not even relatable, but can understand, like what's going on with the characters on a emotional level, you know. And I just feel like it didn't try to do too much. And I just like how it told the story that it wanted to tell in a very uh, powerful way.
Oh, it's on me now. Well, I gotta go with the plot. Okay. First of all, I looked at the director and read about his background. So he also experienced a divorce.
Yeah, because the movie, uh, The Squid in the Whale, is a semi uh, is a semi autobiography about his childhood.
So because of that, this movie has a lot of stuff that he I'm gonna say he did it because he do have a child, and he did get served up in the same state like Adam Driver character did.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, I would definitely say the plot was very well as a cautious tale of nowadays what to expect if you get a divorce. Since I've done a lot of divorce stuff background, and I talked to a couple of people because I wanted to get both sides of the stories and to see what I was going through. This story is about to be is now like very popular. This is something that most majority of men should expect, especially if it's been a lot of years. So the plot did hit that on um, really well. I enjoyed the acting. Um, I didn't really like Adam in Star Wars, but this one he did the emotions well. He was confused. He didn't understand, and most of us are confused. And in a situation like this, he took it logical. Hey, let's not bring lawyers in. Let's not do this, not do that. And the whole time he realized that everything that happened was just being taken away from him.
Well, that was actually both of those original plan was not to get lawyers involved, but it was until Nicole went to Kylie wasn't sad when the other lady kind of urged her.
Yeah, but she still,
talk to the lawyer.
But that's the thing though with this is, and that's always going with the whole women scoring thing, because even she knew what they said, but with that lady talking to her, I mean, even in the plot, I like how she made they made the guy the victim the whole time, which in some of these cases is kind of true, even except the mother of Johansson character was kind of neutral, but you can see how she wasn't happy, and a lot of it was she took it out on him. I did like in the beginning, and they kind of elaborated on the end. They all both had wrote the pros of the other person, everything nice about that person, and it also shows how relationships can be so great at the beginning, and everything that we love about a person is all this great stuff. The only issue I kind of had was a lot of her issues were the strengths that she enjoyed of him. Like she enjoyed that he always have a plan and stuff like that, where she didn't have a plan and she kind of admitted. Where in this story, well, I don't want to get off on that because I want to bring most of this stuff up later, but it's just the fact it just shows a lot where you can see from both sides. Now, in the beginning, I thought everything was cool. Everything, he was the victim, but then they did make him, have an affair, which was it confirmed? Yeah, it was confirmed.
Because well, in realistically, there really is no victim when you go through divorce, unless now the other person is just an awful person. But usually, in cases, even in cases where the other spouse cheats, there's always something that the other spouse did. Like, well, I guess not in every case, but there's
No, you can say that. It can kind of lead up. I see what you're saying. It can lead up to certain stuff. Because the first thing you could definitely see, communication. We all talk about communication. If you've been in a relationship, normally a lot of issues happen because of communication error.
yeah,
It just
and
communicating.
that's actually one of the things that happened with them. You know, like because his understanding was always like, well, she could go do this, and we could, and after she could go to Cali and do the show. Well, what happens is she gets a audition. Well, not audition, but she gets casted in this pilot episode.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes back to Cali, where she's from, and so she could do so she could do the show, and it's drivers. Well, Charlie's uh he's like he believes that well she doing the show, and after the show ends they'll
Yeah.
coming back to in New York whatnot, but they failed to communicate that she I guess yeah they kind of failed to talk about each other's feelings, and it just caused a big rift in the relationship. Even though by that point things was already falling apart.
Well, I still think they had. Well, from him, I definitely think that he still had love for her the whole way through. The only time you see her actually show affection is kind of weird, but it's like after she gets in another relationship, then she's all happy and she's cordial with him. But
I also think both of them still had love for each other.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that for her, she felt like he was too controlling, and he only wanted to do. And well, it seems that the only thing that he wanted to do was for his benefits, because it's understandable, especially when we deal with two people who is in the industry, in the film industry. Like he's becoming this big time theater director, where she used to be the one that drew in the crowd. Now they have a few successful shows, the plays are getting bigger. Now everyone coming to see him, and she kind of felt like her career is kind of falling to the backside, and she is missing out on becoming this big star or not.
And I'm so glad that you said that, because that was going to be my point. Just tell you that I disagree with what you were saying because of that reason. Now, my thing is this. First of all, we all know that attention for women attention is very high. They have to have attention. I mean, that's where we get the happy wife, happy life. That's literally doing whatever she wants to keep her happy. That right there is not even mutual. But a lot of married couples will say that. Plus, we already know just by in our time right now, who's complaining about if Instagrams take out likes? Women. Okay, so another thing is they actually elaborate on that, just like you said. The thing is that when everything that she praised about him was because he was doing everything as a man. Most of the rules of a man is to lead, and most females play that supporting role. Now, we all know one of the issues that some people even suggest is like, and I've seen people suggest this with like actors, don't get people. Actors shouldn't date other actors or people in the industry, because one of the things you have to worry about is competition. Because in a lot of cases, for instance, let's say Will and Jada. Will Smith, if there's an issue in their relationship, Will always probably do more. Because, of course, once he do action movies, he's going to pull in more movies just by being an action star compared to most females. So, in that case, she even explained it. Now, I don't really want to say he was being selfish, because his whole job as a guy was he was trying to do something different than what his father did, and that was to build a home. So he tried to get established, which established was doing the film company. And yes, he was a director, and all the money was building this business. So that's where you have to look at it. He was building a business, which the lawyers actually try to bring up. But one of her complaints was, and you even acknowledged it, she wasn't the star anymore. So they were competing. So the thing about it is that when it wasn't like he was being selfish, because all his plays, he made her the star, hands down. She was always a star. But instead of her just being accepted of being a star, because technically, even, and he does say, he was like, you wasn't happy until you wasn't happy. And that's the thing. She complained about all this other stuff which she had access to. Did she want to direct? She could have easily direct. He was not.
Well, they actually brought it up. She actually did want to direct, but he wouldn't let her direct.
Okay, but they didn't go into it to understand why.
Because his thing was being a director,
Mm-hmm.
and like they even stated, like he was like, oh, okay, the next one. Well, I'll do the next one, the next one, the next
Okay,
one.
then that still
and the
go.
next one,
That still
and
go
the
with
next one
communication.
the next one never came.
And the thing is that eventually, if you want something bad enough, you fight for it. Hey, babe, stop. I want to do this. You keep saying this because we always do that. Who hasn't interacted with somebody and not said, hey, you know what? I'm tired of not getting what I want. You see what I'm saying? That could have been there. Now, you're right. There could have been a conversation. I feel personally it could have been a conversation. She could have pulled them, but she didn't. She decided not to say anything. But then there's another thing where even that is still competition in this relationship because she enjoyed the fact that he's a dad. She enjoyed it. But the problem was that she didn't like the fact that he was doing it too good because then it was the part where she felt that the kid was hers and she literally said out her mouth, I have a child, I thought it was going to be mine. But she didn't realize that she's supposed to share it. It takes two to make a baby. So it's one of those things where,
well, that is a mother's instinct, Like a lot of mothers, because like it's the mother who actually carries the child for 9 months.
right, that's cool.
So of course they could have that fantasy. Oh, this is my baby, whatnot, and blah blah blah.
But then if that's the case, then we also have people complaining that there's no men in the house. You know what I'm saying? We do have that issue.
I mean, but like that really that has nothing to do with having
but
in
this one, it does make sense because my thing is this: if you get married, if you ask a woman why does she want to get married, it will be I can have help. I want to have a husband do it. Now, yes, I've seen a psychology book where they said women enjoy a man helping, but they still want the kid to come to them. But at the same time, you have to look at the background where a lot of people don't really look at certain stuff. Like, for instance, he grew up in an abusive household. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, he wants two things people can do. They can either be like their parents or they can be a completely opposite. Same thing with alcohol. If your parents was a drunk, you have the opportunity to be a drunk or be the opposite. And that's where it's a conversation thing where he didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Because all he was doing was trying to be a good dad. And internally, she didn't like it. And you can sit there and say, "Oh, yeah, it's a mother instinct."
Well, she never once did she say that she never didn't like him being a father.
Yeah, she did. She didn't like the fact that he overdid it. She did state that. She said she was like, "I thought it was going to be all mine."
But that's not the same as her admitting that he's
okay. I wasn't saying better. No, she did say that he was good at a dad. She said,
she admits that he's a good dad.
No, she said the things that people do not like the nightmares and stuff like that, he enjoys it.
Yeah.
Which means that it was a competition because he was liking stuff that most females felt like nightmares. Who do as a son? Who pretty much does that? It's the mother, especially if it's the opposite, because opposite are attract. It's always daddy's little girl and mama and son. Them two, it's always going to be the opposite with the kid because that's their first love. You see what I'm saying? It's always going to be a different mentality. You know what I'm saying? The woman might be stricter on her daughter where the father is going to baby. Same thing, opposite. But like you said, being the mother and the nurturing, if he was doing all the nightmare stuff, women do compete with that. That's still a form of competition because that's where it was almost taken where she wanted to do it. Because remember, he was sleeping with the son, and then at the end they kind of bring it up a little bit where she's always sleeping with the little boy, which to be honest, at a certain age, that wouldn't happen. And if they both were living together, most guys it's a psychology thing where the father and the son will always be competing. And in those cases, he would have pushed the boy out. The boy would not be sleeping with his moms if the dad was there.
Actually, technically, they brought it up. In fact, of Charlie never liked the fact that she would sleep.
Right.
Allowed it to happen.
He's too old. Yeah.
Which actually brings the fact of that wasn't the first time that happened.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So there's been times in the past where she allowed him to sleep, in the bed with her and whatnot.
But he would have pushed it out.
But not really once in the movie where they said they was competing.
No.
Being
Okay.
parents, and
My thing is this: they did not say that. But if you listen to her complaints, her positive complaints, what she was saying was competing. She literally said that's competing. Okay, if I sit there and say, look, like we got this show, and I say, man, I'm tired of being on Film Nerds because I don't get to talk, and everybody's asking questions to James. Everybody wants to talk to James. That's a form of competition or a form of feeling. It's I want to be better. I want the same. She wants the same. She want everything. And that's the thing she did say. I was no longer the star. People was no longer coming to me and asking stuff because they did. But she didn't realize that she was the actor, he was the director, and the owner. So everybody's going to be directing him. Everybody's going to want. She wanted the same thing that she got as being the teen star of the show. People come in for her interviews. People asking her the same way, and they showed it. Look what happened when she did the pilot. Everything that she said, people wanted. They wanted to know because she was a star. They wanted to know, hey, what do you think? Hey, let's get you on the writing crew. That's not going to happen if you're the director. that's not. Most people are not going to. That's not. You know what I'm saying? She wanted that same attention.
Which actually tells, shows the difference between a director being on the theater level and a director doing shows. A director a lot of directors who do shows, unless you're a big name director, you're not gaining that attention, because many shows will have many different directors. They also, but it's always the actors who gets the big name, who gets recognized the more. Even in a lot of movies, like unless you're a big time director, it's the actors who gets the attention and whatnot. And it was never her goal in life to be just a regular actor.
Oh, I disagree. Well, my thing is that we can come up to that because she was a hit, but she still made the choice to become a mother, to get married, and to pull her career on the side.
It was her choice, but they even brought up that it came more from Charlie wanting that.
Well, because Charlie was coming from and that's the thing that
which actually goes back to the point of him being kind of selfish. The other thing she did was always because Charlie wanted this, Charlie wanted that.
Okay, who was that?
It was never the fact of, okay, what do you want? So that was she.
Okay, but then if that's the case, then we'll be like the pilot. I mean, it's not like, okay, I'll put it like this. Yes, in some cases, I would agree with that. He was doing that. Now, his reason was, and she said it, he always have a plan when I don't have a plan. Most people who don't have a plan follows people with plans. That's the same thing as being a leader and a follower. What's the advantage between the leader and the follower? The leader literally is the person who has the plan and is doing the plan. The follower is the person that's following the leader's thing. So and that's why I'm going by her own words. I'm taking, just like they did with the warrior, taking her own words. She looked up to him as a guiding light. And most of the time, that's how females do. Most guys drive the force. I'm not saying he's 100% innocent. I'm not saying that, because my thing is that at the end of the day, she played that supporting role and she didn't have a problem with it, because my thing is that even though she's doing this theater stuff, going to theater and going to film can be switched back and forth. We see it even in real life. There's plenty of actors who went to theater, came back, they've done it.
And the problem with that in this movie, the fact that she wasn't getting those opportunities, because the whole big thing is building Charlie's company.
Okay, but that was her choice.
It was her choice, but it was also her choice. I mean, it was her choice, but it was only influenced by Charlie. Charlie, like I said, Charlie had, like you said, Charlie had the plans.
Okay.
When Charlie planned, but whenever she would come up with her own plan, Charlie always he always came up with a reason on not to do it.
Okay.
Like with her wanting to direct, he would let her direct, or moving back to LA, he didn't want to do that. And like.
Well, he explained why.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And the reasons why, because his theater.
Okay.
He never looked at everything he did, he never looked at what she, wanted. It was like, okay, I want to do this. Let's do this, And it was like, it was one instance. Something came up. She was she wanted to go to LA for something, and like he kind of brushed it off, but yet he was willing to go to this
He went to
other
Copenhagen.
yeah, and do a play for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. But because it benefited.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. I agree with you on the end part, but what I'm saying is that to build the foundation, he did everything. He was right, and she chose to help him with that foundation because you got to think about it. In the beginning, she decided to get married. Okay, and
she also was young too. At the
okay,
time.
okay, but we're not gonna use the young thing.
I mean, you got to use all of it because it
fine.
plays part.
Okay,
it
even if
plays
we
the
want to
whole
use
part
the
of-
young thing, the thing is that she still had a choice to make, and she had a career. Okay, it's literally like American Pie. She kind of did like a comedy, like American Pie.
Mhm.
Okay, which anytime you do a blockbuster movie, you have the opportunity to do. You're in the limelight. Anybody like Jason Biggs, Napoleon Dynamite. Those characters was able to jump on to do something new. Even like what Game of Thrones. After Game of Thrones is coming, hit shows or hit movies, you have an opportunity to be put into something else. She could have stayed there, but the thing is that she chose. I'm looking at the fact is that one, she chose to get married. Then, if you get married, okay, the thing is that as the husband, and this is something that they will always say about marriage, women will always be able to fall back. They have that ability. They have the ability because they have a dude there. You know what I'm saying? The man always will have to, if he's working 80 hours, if you meet a couple and they both working 80 hours, she has the ability to drop down, especially if they have kids. Because now, which I do agree with statistics and psychologists, is that, having somebody at home helps nurture the child a little bit better. So we have to look through all that. So while she was raising the children between the first 4 years, which they recommended by psychologists, that somebody should be at home for the first 4 years, she pulled back. She ended up following his lead. All I'm saying is that the thing with relationships, we all seen is that we get into a rut and we get into a point where everything is just status quo. So, but my thing is that this is also show where communication, because he even defended himself. The thing was that they had a business. They were starting a business. The company, as we could see, until they got the grant, was still building up. So yes, I do agree with the fact that they should have probably did the 1 year. Now I will say in that case, but I'm not saying that we all don't be big headed, because even with me and you with film nerds, there's some things that it took a minute, you know what I'm saying, for you to agree with certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? It happens. I'm just saying is that I agree with that. The LA thing they could have did. He could have switched and said it. But all I'm saying was in the beginning, she knew what she was doing. If she wanted to choose not to get married, she had no problem with that. And she acknowledged the fact that he always made a plan. And this is one of the things that I've noticed too in just regular dating relationships. Women would try to change you and then get mad at you for changing you for certain stuff. Like for instance, we was always taught to have a compromise. But even as nice guys get in trouble when they ask women, hey, what do you want to do? Hey, what do you want to do? What is this? Women would tell these dudes like, oh my God, why can't you just be spontaneous? Why can't you make it up? Then if you become that nice guy and you are doing stuff like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. The next complaint will be, oh, why you never asked me no input? And most guys who've been in relations will agree that this stuff happened. That's even like the food thing. We seen the skit. Hey, what do you want to eat for dinner? Whatever you like. Then he take control, which means whatever you like means I want whatever you go get. But we all know that it becomes a problem afterwards. You see what I'm saying? Because she changed. So all I'm saying is that because of stuff that guys in relationship have experienced, that's where she switched. Now I'm not saying that Driver was completely wrong, but I'm saying that she did make him out to a victim because it was communication issues.
Yeah, it was a lot of.
I'm just saying he led to build up something for them, because remember, as a mother, and you have a husband. What is the husband's job? To provide.
Mhm.
And for what he did was he provided. He built a business. It takes business a couple years. So I just felt like she got into the rush. She didn't demand what she wanted. until after. And well, I put it like this way: they don't really go into the fact that she demanded. It was more like she asked and he turned it down. And yes, he does say that, like, oh well, I kept putting it off, which that's why I say he got used to being that leading role, which some leaders, that's a flaw. That's something that you have to learn, that you don't listen to your people all the time. Even though technically marriage, I still think marriage is kind of like a form of a partnership. But yeah.
I mean, marriage is a partnership, whatnot. It's not a form of partnership. It is a partnership.
Not when it's time for divorce, is not.
But the fact of like in their own in their own right, each one of them was a victim of the other person's rather insecurities and negative character traits and whatnot. Because you really can't say that everything was her fault, which why the divorce, because
no, I won't say that.
like, I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of things that they could have done and even compromised. Because I think that's the big thing in the marriage. You don't see no compromise, whatnot.
That's correct.
You know,
I agree. We talk about it so much, but there was no compromise.
Because which is why I was saying, like, because everything was always what he wanted, and
I agree.
Yeah.
Like the director thing, she could have. It's kind of hard to tell how big it was, but he didn't really show a reason why he couldn't put her in that position and he take the back seat, or he could have just focused on what's the other dude, like just the company manager type thing,
the producer.
Well, yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, true. Because it doesn't never stated why he wouldn't let her direct.
Right.
This outside the fact of it was probably his one of his character flaws, where he wanted. I don't want to say control, because I don't see him being. Well, in a way, he is kind of like he is a control freak, because
but.
He like cleanliness.
That's not being. That's not being a control freak, to be clean.
I mean, in a way,
but in the movie they did make it a flaw.
He likes, he
likes things in order.
He likes order, and being a director, part of being a director is to have order,
right? But just like as you being a director, would it be wrong for somebody to call you a control freak because you want for instance, I want all my actors 5 minutes early. I want lighting to be done. I want everybody to memorize it. That wouldn't be considered a control freak. That just mean I don't like when people. I mean, I get it. It was made off in the movie as it being a control freak, but he was running a company. You kind of gotta have those certain standards.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even like the lights off, I was raised by that, and people might have a problem with that, and I've seen people have a problem with that, but you are saving energy, and it does lower your bill costs. If nobody's in the room, So it, and then the thing is, even though she complained about that, that was the yin and yang to her. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand that. Like, if she's disorganized and he's organized, there's that balance, or just like most couples, there's the one that spends, there's the one that saves. Perfect balance. I mean, yeah, it's going to cause conflict.
Yeah, so there was actually a lot of yin and yang in the relationship. Because as you see with him, one of the things that he loved about her was the fact that she could open, pickle jars.
Yo, I didn't know what that movie was doing when they did that scene.
It was kind of funny. The fact that he's struggling to open the jar, and he gives to her, and she nonchalantly opens the cookie jar. I mean the pickle jar. But it goes back to each one of those the whole yin yang thing, because usually you think the female is the one to be more conscious about how the household is. And it was always he was the one that, okay, close this, close that, tune off this, tune off that, cook this, cook, he was pretty much the what was I looking for? I don't want to say mother of the house, but
Or I mean, I think I get what you're saying. Yeah.
you know, he was that was kind of his role at home. You know, which was kind of funny because how the movie sets up their characters to be just in a way opposites. You know, of the normal.
The generals, yeah. The general.
And see, that's the thing about generals is that they set a standard to use, but it's not always true. Because like I know, like one of the issues I always have is that I always say I want to be the disciplinarian because most of the time I see is that most females want to be the nice parent. You know what I'm saying? But you know, and I've noticed that it can always switch. Like for instance, like you said, if it works, it works. Like Malcolm in the Middle, prime example. Who was the disciplinarian in that show? It was the mother. The father was the nice, the nice one and stuff like that. But it worked. And my thing is that as long as that people respect it, it works. And she did, like with that, with the cooking and cleaning. And then that even goes back with the competition. They both. That was where I think what's the problem is the competition, because if both people are competitive, it goes into, and then actually just being her being an actor is just that right there was like that was that big yellow flag, you know what I'm saying? Because like you can see even in the game, you know, she even smiles a couple times when he lost and stuff like that. But not, I'm probably over getting into it, but yeah, I agree. They showed that they had a nice balance into that competition, and probably because they was in the same field, you know, being competitive in the same type of field could have been a different issue if he was a theater person and she was a lawyer, you know.
I mean, oh yeah, you know, but because whether you're a director or actor, you don't want to see your career fade, you know, especially when you get older, you know. Like when you're younger, like you're most of the time you just, as you say, you know, she's in the hype, you know, everything's going well, like she's the star, but especially we look at female actors like nowadays, once they hit that
oh yeah, they got 30, a time frame. Yeah, they got 40, the beauty thing. Yeah,
you know, a lot of them tends Hollywood, you know, tends to cast them to the side.
Yeah, they have to because it's all because
they don't have to.
Well, the roles change
because Hollywood always wants the young,
right. Well, that's what I'm saying, woman, and that because that's what sells. We live in a world where that sells.
I mean, yeah, but
beauty will sell for females. True. That's their kryptonite.
But that doesn't make it right, you know, because we look at.
What you gonna do? Have a 30-year-old as a harp thrower?
You can but we look at aging male actors. They don't have issues in getting roles, you know.
Right.
Like, but Asian female actors do.
But it sells. That's what I'm saying.
But that doesn't make it right though.
Well, okay, and that's what I'm saying. It's regardless if it makes it right, it going by what makes money. Yes, a guy can be 50 years old because that's, you know, he's appealing to younger women. Where for guys, a younger woman will always be more appealing because it's biological. Biological. Even though, like, yes, they saying it's unfair, but yes, if most people, they have done studies where it seemed like they would go and get a younger woman to play that certain role. But that's the thing, even though within, and I get what you're getting to, is like she put herself back, but they both sacrificed. Because when he even said, he was like, when I was being 20, I was living it. They literally both was living it. And most of the time,
but his living it and her living it was two different things.
Okay, well,
his living it at the fact of I was just hot rising director, and I could be screwing all these females.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying.
But I elected to be with you.
Right, but that's
her sacrifice was more of a career sacrifice.
Okay, then who wants to be married? Most of the time, it's the female. He didn't even want to get married, and that's the point that he was making. And just like you saying that, yes, she does have a limited time. Yes, because of how Hollywood is with her beauty, depending on what type of characters that she wants, because you know, and people have said that you can tell how Hollywood treats you because you're going to be the girl next door, then eventually you'll be the hot cousin, the hot friend, and you'll move up to the big sister, the auntie, the mama, then the grandma. You know what I'm saying? So those transitions you see where, like, you're right, for a guy like Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel is going into his 40s. He's still going, as long as he keep his muscles, he still can be the hot superhero. You know what I'm saying? He could do Fast and Furious all the way to 20. But
I hope not.
but that's what I'm saying is that with that, in that case, he was saying the same thing. And we all know that marriage is normally is pushed by the woman if they're dating.
Not always.
It's not always, but in some cases it will get pushed. It's either you lose the girl or you give her what she want if he's not wanting that. Because from what he was saying, he had the opportunity to enjoy his single life. If they're both in their prime. That's what I'm looking at. They're both in their prime. She didn't have to get married. I mean, she didn't. But she decided to get married. Then even if they got married, they didn't have to have a child at that time. They could have waited. Or she could have did another movie and build it up. So it's...
But the way they was talking, I don't think the child wasn't a planned child. Right?
Yeah, well.
And a lot of times, children are not planned. They just happen.
But if you're in your prime, you should.
which actually goes back to, like, I don't think he was, it was a planned child because both of them is focusing on their careers, and now they have a child, so it throws a wrench in things. So it wasn't.
And
planned.
they both played their position. She pulled back to do his stuff, support him, and to raise that child, and he tried to make a lifestyle for them. And that's what I see at the bare minimum. He did what he was supposed to do. She was supposed to be doing. Once the boy got to a certain age where he could be babysitting, I think, do they tell how old he is?
He was 8.
8. Okay. 8 was a good time because she was younger for them. Well, I'll say about 6. Maybe 6 or 7, would have been a good time for them to switch and stuff. But it shows you how they kept up with the swinging things, And like you said, there was no compromise, which people will tell you anything with a relationship is always, it needs to be a compromise. You don't have to be married. Friendship, anything that says ship at the end, it has to be a compromise, and they didn't compromise.
Yeah, but but moving on to the actors, like, I do feel like the acting in this movie is great. From like it is a ensemble cast. From Adam Driver to Scarlett Johansson to Laura Dern to Ray Loretto, whoever his name is. Even
I didn't think he really did anything special.
No, he did it, but I do love his presence and the way he kind of played the scumbag lawyer. Like the guy who he's willing to do whatever it takes to win.
He have to.
I mean, yeah. It's I can see it as a plus and negative at the same time. Like, cause like he's willing to manipulate things and twist words and play underhand tactics.
Well, the thing is, like with lawyers, they get credit for winning.
Oh yeah, I know.
But that's the problem with divorce for the man, is because even with statistics, if you notice, he has to pay. He paying a lot of money up front. You know what I'm saying? 25,000. What was it? 25K for Ray. 950,000. 950 an hour. Plus, they was in California. California is a liberal state, so states like that, they're going to cater to the woman. Which I understand it. Like, my thing is that a lot of people don't understand that marriage is literally you kind of taking care of the woman. Because if you think about it, what happens during marriage? When she walks down, who's walking her down?
The father.
And what is he doing? He's transitioning over his daughter to the husband, which means is that, and then what's the job of a father to his daughter? And if he's handing this over, what is it? Same thing. If I hand you my keys to my car, it comes with certain expectations. Mm-hmm. And then that's another thing too, is that even with divorce, look at how we have to look at it. Like, well, the government can't keep paying for these people, so they have to
Yeah,
you know, they take everything out of it, and that's
but
why.
going back to the actors,
Oh.
to the acting, like, well, with Adam Driver, like, I know you said earlier, you know, like you did like him in Star Wars, but even though I felt like he did.
Well,
an
it's
awesome
not
job.
that it's not that like him, but I got to see his. Well, to clarify, I didn't really think his acting was anything special, but here I got to see his range. That's pretty much. I don't really think the Star Wars showed his range
I
too
mean,
much.
he showed a lot of range in the Star Wars, especially in the last one, with the ability to cry on spot, on cue.
Yeah,
You know, showing his anger and rage, and being able to be, in a way, calming.
but he
you
did
know.
all those things that you say he did in Star Wars. He did every last one of those
in this movie.
in this
So
movie.
we're actually going back to kind of negate what you said, like you didn't have range, you know. So like from his body language to his like one thing I realized about actors, especially well, sometimes a lot of male actors, but you know, actors on our level, they forget to act with their body and face, you know, and I feel like he did a extraordinary job, you know, in portraying this like I don't want to say big time because he's not really big time, but on the theater level, he is kind of big time successful or not, you know. But like, I feel like he did an awesome job portraying that kind of character, you know, who's not really the like the part I like the most is when they in his apartment and they had the lady come through to to kind of watch how him and his son.
She was weird.
She was really weird.
I was like, dang, he ain't getting no help in this one.
And like, she mentions about the knife. I forget how it came up. Like,
oh, the little boy kept bringing it. And the little boy played his part. Oh my god, he was the perfect. Yeah. Well, I'll get back on point, but yeah, the little boy brung it up at the dinner table.
Yeah, so he shows us the knife trick later on, and he actually cuts himself. Yeah. And the whole time she's looking at him like, "You alright?" He's like, "Oh, yeah. I'm great." And like you can tell on his face how he's actually in pain, you know. But you know he's still playing calm and collected. But you can tell, you know, he's like, yeah, like this hurts. So he kind of rushes it out and immediately goes to a full panic, trying to wash the room, bandages up, and he passes out on the floor. And his son walks in like, "Oh, Dad, you okay?" Like, "Yeah."
I thought he was just in pain.
Like, yeah. So his son just walks by and kind of leaves him on the floor.
Yeah, I think he said he was sleepy or something.
Yeah, he said, "Yeah, I'm kind of sleepy." Because he probably lost a lot of blood, you know. You know, but I feel like he really played that scene right there. But also the kid was also pretty good too. You know,
he did exactly what you probably could expect. He even tried to play against the parents. Oh my god, he did his job well. Like he see them unstable, and that's the thing I always say is like, you know, your kids are always watching when a man's go, because even when they was pulling them, that can literally happen where all you gotta do is just stand there. Yeah, he played it.
Because at the time, like he, because the son wanted to stay in L.A., you know, and you can tell around this time he was leaning more towards his mom, and he wanted to be with his mom, you know.
Yeah, that's the love thing. Yeah,
because one thing is that she actually plays, you know, like she plays with him, you know, where Charlie, he didn't really engage in that form with him. Like he was more like, because like ideally, going back to the I guess gender roles, ideally is, you know, it's the father, is he's the one who he gets down, he plays with the child, why not? And like I said earlier, it's the mother who kind of nurtures him when he has like nightmares. But it's kind of reverse, you know.
it. I was a little confused by that because even when you said that, looking at if he's the breadwinner, then it makes sense for her to always play with him. Because, like you said, the first 4 years, the mother is the face there. But there's stuff where I think the location thing, I think it's kind of mixed because a lot of times, like they said, in the lawyer said, it's like you can't believe the child because the child's just going to say whatever it want to say to appease to the parents because he knows, it's kind of like how they do, it just knows it don't want to,
Yeah,
so
but he was also telling his father that he wanted to stay in LA.
yeah, but who wouldn't say that after they had a choice? He had a choice. In New York, he probably didn't have. Well, the stance I'm looking at is that while he was in New York, he probably didn't have a problem. But by him standing there, this was over 30 days. Most kids would be like, oh, okay, well, I'm cool with this. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't back because you already showed that they was there for 30 days with the paperwork. So the kid, after that, when he started getting a lawyer, because they was about to file without him with a defense, it's already been 30 days. The kid. I would interpret that.
But this actually wasn't their first time being there. Like,
but
because they would say that they visit often and
for the holidays. Yeah,
and he even stated that his friends are in LA. He liked the school better.
Right, but LA. If it's past 30 days, that's what I'm saying. As soon as they did it, and that lady, because of divorce stuff and stuff like that, when it comes to custody, most divorces, because like right now, I was looking at, most people would say a best case scenario for a guy, if it's kids, is 50-50, worst case is 0. For a female, it's worst case scenario is 50-50. Even best case scenario is 100%. And even the lawyer, and that proves that stat because the lawyer even said, oh yeah, I snuck it in 45-55. Like, she literally took away time for the dude, which as a male, you kind of want to be like, well, dang, he might want it, son to son, male to male, certain things that male can teach, but they even pushed that in there, which in the movie, they didn't have to, but that's one of the things too, that I think that the director wanted to elaborate is the fact that even if they're going to get everything they can, and if they can pull that time away, they can. But but going back to what you were saying, they were there for a little bit. I'm looking at the fact that even though they visit, they made the plan to put the kid in school. So he ended up getting into a routine because they're not going to ship the kid back and forth by the course. Everything that lawyer said is literally true. That's when his research, like I said, based on with him, if he had a kid, he literally dealt with that. So the kid just got into a routine. That's it.
Yeah, but he's still old enough to
7 to 8, really?
To judge. Okay, how's my time in this school?
Really?
How's my time in this school?
No, not an 8-year-old. Because as soon as he said his friend, he was like, "Oh yeah, they don't even talk to me. He don't even like me."
Yeah, exactly. Like,
but we don't. But
he basing off his experience with other kids.
His
experience
flaky.
His experience with the kids in LA was a lot better than his experience with the kids
at
in
that
New York.
age. Kids are flaky. All it could be the fact that he left. Oh man, you left me, and then I don't like you. That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that the boy was considered with what's in his face compared to going back to something. That's all I'm saying. Because he started having more fun and he started meeting new people, it was new. It's new. That's what I'm looking at. I'm just saying that because of the situation, it was because it was a new experience and he was already.
I don't think it was even new people. Like, it was still the same people who they.
No, still okay. What I mean by new experience is that now he's okay. If he visits for the holidays, what's the most time people hanging out for the holidays? About 2 weeks, right? He spent over 30 days. He gets to see these people and he has play people. He's meeting new people, going different places.
Yeah, but it's people who he sees all the time.
Yeah, but he's also met new people also.
What I'm saying, knows for 30 days.
Okay, and what I'm saying is this. This is what I'm gathering. Okay, prime example. Kids right at that time, you can give them their favorite food, but if they're eating something right now or enjoying something right now at that moment, they will forget about that. I'm like, oh, here go your favorite toy. Oh no, it's okay. It's kind of like Toy Story. Once he got the cowboy was his favorite toy, but so we'll say the cowboy is New York. He spent most of his life there, regardless, of the city thing. He has his home there. He has his bed. Everything he has is there. But the Buzz Lightyear is California. if you go to that kid in the toy store and ask him what toy you want to play with, it would have been the Buzz Lightyear. That's what I'm saying, because of its age. It was new. I'm going on the fact that it was new. Everything was new. They was visiting different places. Like, for instance, Pasadena. He's now visiting, and they probably got different stuff. Bigger houses. The houses are bigger. He got his own room. He's probably got more stuff. So I'm just saying, for him, it was just, at that moment, it was a newer experience and new stuff. And kids are, at that age, are very, oh, this is new and flashy. So that's where I would go on my opinion on that. I mean, that's it. I mean, if that's how you feel, that's cool.
I think you don't give kids a lot of credit, because kids do speak their minds.
That's true. They do speak their mind, but they're very easily manipulated also.
And kids don't really lie unless they really have to. And in that instance, there was no reason why to lie about.
I'm not saying that
liking LA.
Okay, I'm not saying that he lied. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that.
But I just feel like he was being honest in that assessment.
And just like the lawyer said, we cannot go off of what they saying, because one, kids are spontaneous, and you're right. He's not lying. I'm not saying that he's a liar. I'm not saying that.
But in that instance, using what the lawyer said, kids tend to tell the other parent something different to the other parents. If that was the case, he would have told his dad, yes, I want to go back to New York, because his dad wanted to go to New York.
But even if you say that, the same could happen if you put him in New York. He could have been back to New York. All I'm saying is this.
But he wouldn't. But he did not.
But we don't know until and that's what I'm saying. Okay, what is the motivation of why he didn't go back to New York?
His dad wants to go. His dad wants. What his motivation why he didn't want to go back to New York?
Yes, that's correct.
His friends was in LA.
Okay, so my thing is this: how do you get friends?
By meeting new people.
Okay.
By being around people.
Okay.
But the people who he would hang out with were people that they already knew. So there wasn't new people.
Okay.
And he liked the people in LA a lot better than the people that he knew back in New York.
Okay.
In which he stated that because these kids are not my friends no more.
And I'm agreeing with you on that part, but I'm saying depending on how you talk to the child, which I would agree with you. I'm not saying the kid was lying. The kid was speaking his truth at that point. Hey, and he's been in what I'm just saying is that kind of like with the Buzz Lightyear and the toy, even though that's his favorite toy, the cowboy. The thing is that he's been playing with the Buzz Lightyear. That's all I'm saying at that moment. Because my thing is this: if they were all living there, and if his mother was there, it could have been a different story. It would have been the same. It literally could have been the same story, the same thing that you're saying. And I'm just saying, depending on the situation, if he was 30 days and his mom was living in New York, and it was supposed to be the opposite, if you switched the parents, he would have wanted to stay in New York. So my thing is that's all I'm saying is that he lived in that place. He never really said why he did not like it. And I'm going to the point, because we have to fill this in.
He did like what, New York?
Yeah.
Because he never said he did not like New York. He liked LA better than like New York.
Of course.
Because he stated that the friends at New York is.
And you keep saying friends. Okay, so
at that age, your friends are everything.
And that's the point.
Your friends are everything.
That's the point.
And his friends in LA were a lot better than the people
you can't say that.
Going based on what he said in the movie.
He didn't say they were better.
He did. I like this. He stated the friends in New York are not his friends no more.
That's not better. That's because he lost his friends. He didn't say they were better.
So if person over here used to be your friend no more, and person over here is now your friend, would this person over here?
You can't do that if that person is not playing. No, that's what I'm saying, and that's the point that I'm going with, is the fact that the only reason. How about this? Why we can judge why. One of the reasons that it could be that they're no longer friends is because they lost contact.
I highly doubt that.
Okay, well then how would an 8-year-old lose a friend?
By numerous reasons, something could happen. Other people influence. It's never stated why they wasn't friends no more.
Okay, but my thing is that
going off the facts that they're not friends no more. The facts is the friends.
You are right.
The people in New York are not friends.
Okay. First of all, I'm gonna say this.
People in LA are friends.
Okay. First of all, and that's why.
So naturally, he want to be with
and
the
that's
friends
in
LA.
He's not okay
because he likes it better over in LA.
Okay.
And plus, he was born in LA.
That right, but born and raised is totally different.
I mean,
it's totally different. Born and raised is totally different.
You can look at how different people has that in the blood. Where
No.
okay, I was born here.
No.
I somehow I have
No.
this
No,
attachment to
no,
this
no,
area.
No,
You know,
no,
and plus
no.
they visited.
No, okay,
Plus
okay.
they visited often.
Okay.
Like they even say that they were there all the time.
Okay.
So
It-
L.A. in a way was his second home.
Okay.
You know,
But
so
people don't, because we have celebrities right now who would claim Atlanta and they didn't even grow up in Atlanta. The point I'm saying with this, when you saying that attachment, I disagree with the attachment, because if he was born from the age of 1 through 3, most kids don't even remember that. You know what I'm saying? And at 8
True.
years old, a lot of people don't know. So he can't build an attachment. He's going to build attachment of where he grew up at. That's why people will always ask you, where did you?
and you lost that attachment.
He didn't lose the attachment if he even been living there and
If
only
his
visiting.
friends in New York are no longer
Okay,
his
hold on,
friends.
hold on. Before we get to that, okay, let's just finish that. So we agree with that. He still, his home technically would have been New York because he spent most of the time there. That's literally what. Now going back to the friends, my thing is this. Okay, by you saying better, I'm just saying they wasn't better, because we're filling into that, because the thing is that they're no longer friends. Now, like you said, there's numerous reasons. The point that the thing that I'm trying to establish is the fact that, yes, regardless that he went there and he visit, that is true. People can still visit. Everybody visit, but they still come home. The thing is that New York is his home, but by him leaving, it's easy. We can say there's multiple reasons why. Now, if his attachment was, this is my house, New York is my house, this is where my room is at, okay, this is where my friends is at, right? The thing is that if his strong attachment to being in New York was his friends, then yeah, that was lost when they broke up and no longer became friends, because he has a room. He probably got a bigger room than New York, and kids will enjoy that if they got a small room and then they got bigger stuff. Because remember, when they moved, she got more help now. You know what I'm saying? So he has more stuff. So that's all I'm saying, is that by him being in California and making that decision, it was only because California looked at a lot better because he had a choice. That's it. If he'd have stayed in New York and never went, regardless of how many times he visit, because visiting stuff is still different compared to home. A lot of people, when they go travel, they can go anywhere and visit family, but having their own. But in New York, in LA, he had his own room and stuff like that. But he lost that contact with his friends.
Well, he think they had his own room in LA.
Where was he sleeping in?
In his mom room.
Okay, and then that's another thing. He would have been
Let's go back to
then,
that choice.
and that's where
in New York he had his room.
And hold
in
on.
New York he had his room.
Okay,
but he liked LA better.
Okay, but before we get to that, because I'm gonna make this point.
Because even if he
I'm gonna
wanted
make this
the
point.
whole
The point that I made earlier.
in New York,
Okay, you
yeah,
said
he
the
went
same
to
thing.
New York, but he didn't choose New
Okay,
York.
but then
Like you stated,
I'm gonna tell you this.
like you stated, he had a choice, and the choice that he made was LA.
Okay, now can I
based on the fact of, one, he liked the area better, because like his father was saying, "Oh, you can walk in New York. I don't like walking around. I prefer riding around in LA. My friends are here. My friends and family are here. They didn't have friends and family in New York.
Mhm.
You know, so all these reasons are why he liked and chose LA over
And once
New York.
again, I said this. The story would be different if his mom's was there. First of all, he has that bond. As an 8-year-old child, he's still in love with his mother. He's always going to pick his mother unless she did something horrible to him. Okay, that's number one. If his mother was in New York,
But we can't say if, because we talk about in this story.
Okay, so we can say honestly, if we switch, because my thing is that it's the same thing that you're adding stuff to. Because
I didn't add anything.
Okay,
I just stated
I'm about to say, for instance, him walking more. Okay, one, they different cities. You know what I'm saying? You do have to walk more compared to LA because of how the streets and stuff is set up. That's just something that and then when you say family, he did have family there because they
in
had
New York.
Listen.
In New York.
Listen.
I'm making your point clear. In New York.
In New York,
what family?
He had family and friends.
In New York.
Yes.
What family?
The theater people. Everybody. Okay.
There wasn't his family. There was his parents' family.
Okay.
That's different.
Right. That's different. The thing is, I'm saying that once you compare certain stuff, then yes. Okay. You know, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna put it this way. Everything that he had in New York, he was happy. We can deduct before we bring out anything. Before they had a divorce, he was a happy kid.
Yeah.
Okay. All I'm saying is this. It's kind of hard to say certain stuff because one, all the things that we're going with, he has his mother in LA. He has his new
Family.
friends and he has his family.
In LA.
Okay.
So why would he choose New York?
I'm telling you why, because he has an option.
And his option and choice was LA.
And that's what I'm saying. The only reason why he had this option was because he had like his mom's there. One of his things was mom. I'm just saying this. His friends, I say it doesn't matter because we don't know why they broke up. And that could have been once you drop the bomb. My thing is this: once you lose your friends, you don't want to be in that city no more. You know what I'm saying? But
not really. No.
Okay.
I've lost plenty of friends, and they didn't.
Okay,
know,
but we're talking about an 8-year-old though, because he's upset.
I lost plenty of friends at age 2. I didn't want to leave.
Okay, but in the movie, what I'm saying is that the reason why he stated that he didn't want was because his friends back at home. He lost his friends back at home. That's coming out of his mouth.
That was one reason.
I know that's one reason, but everything else falls in his favor because his mom's is there. He's going to follow his mom's.
So, in other words, he liked LA better because 1, because of his mom.
I don't know.
2, because of his friends.
No.
3, because of the family. 4, because he liked the environment in the area better in LA. Because he didn't like walking.
Whatever.
Walking around in New York. Whatever. I'm just stating the facts from the movie.
No, and I'm stating the facts with the movie too, because my thing is that it.
But your facts prove my point.
No, the point that I'm saying is this. In that case, as a child, and you saying there saying he's speaking is true because right now New York is the best. New York is the best option at that point. So yeah, in that point, yeah, you're saying it. But what I'm saying is that the reason why I'm saying he's doing that is because not because of all that stuff. It's just the fact that everything is new to him, and it is great. He has everything that he needs.
I mean, I would disagree that it was new because he been there before, numerous times.
It doesn't matter if he's been there before.
It does matter.
I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't matter.
Everything.
This is why I'm saying it doesn't matter. 1, he didn't go to the school. Okay, he didn't go to the school. A lot of the cities that he probably visit, he didn't go. Like for instance, the 2 cousins that moved in Pasadena. Now he gets to hang out with them. You see what I'm saying? So to me, I just think the kid just adapted because he was there for a couple months and he ended up, yes, by visiting, he got to hang out with his cousins and stuff like that. I'm saying that helped the decision. But if you take out the whole LA stuff, he probably would have stayed back in New York. That's what I'm saying. To me, I took that his decision was this is his life. This is what he adjusted to. That's it. And yes, it's literally, we're kind of saying the same thing to a certain degree.
Not really.
Well,
because my whole point was we stated that the lawyer was telling Charlie that kids tend to tell the parent the opposite of what he told the other parent was, if that was the case, he would have told Charlie, I want to go back to New York. But he didn't.
No, because he wanted to stay.
My point is exactly.
But I'm saying, and then
that was my point, because
I get that.
My point was the fact that he negated what the lawyer was telling him.
What the lawyer said was correct.
What the lawyer was saying that a kid would tell you anything that you want to hear.
Right.
And Charlie did not want to hear him wanting to stay in LA.
Why Charlie didn't agree with him, because he by him staying there, he adapted to being out there. Hold on. Now, this is the thing. The reason why I'm saying that is because if he got up every time that he went back to New York, who was he going to New York to? Where was he going back to New York with?
No one.
That's the point I'm making. Because my thing is that even though you was harping on the friends and the family, his mother wasn't there. Now, if it was a choice where, like, for instance, if they were going for the holiday, and that's what I'm saying, if it was a holiday thing and they was asking him, hey, where do you want to stay at? He would most likely probably chose to go back to New York because his family, his mom's was there. That whole unit was there. But that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you saying. That's why I said he was saying what he was being truthful. But his truthful was based on the fact that he only had one option. Because if you take away everything that he had, he didn't have that.
He had 2 options.
But he didn't have that in New York no more. He didn't have his parents in New York.
He has that in New York.
But that's the point. That's one of the biggest points I'm making. He's following his mom's. As a son, at that age, his mom's is his girlfriend. He's going to follow his girlfriend. Hands down.
Yeah, but my actual point was the fact of the lawyer said a child would tell you anything that you wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And did the child keep to hear?
Don't.
No.
And I'm telling you
And
why.
the answer is no.
Right,
the answer
right,
is
right, right.
no.
And I'm telling you
and
why.
That's my
Okay,
point.
okay. Well, your point.
That
okay,
was my whole point.
And
That was my whole point.
And I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm
That was my
telling you
whole
why that one he losing that safe. He losing that safe because there's two different choices. That's why I use the Toy Story. There's two different choices. The choices are different. That's what I'm saying. The cowboy is a traditional.
I get all that.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
I
got it. You're the one that you're right, and that's cool. And I agree to you. Okay, fine.
I get all
At the end of the day, if that's what you want to say, that you agree to that the lawyer thing, you are correct. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just only reason I'm saying is that the reason why he comes off wrong is due to the situation. Okay, Charlie has more stuff to do in LA, which I also agree. He has all the boxes, all the pros and cons of going to New York because it's different. That's the only thing I'm saying is that in this case, he probably would have told his father he wanted to go. It don't even matter because it's not part of the movie. So just sticking with what we have. The thing that I'm saying is that going back to New York, in New York, he wouldn't have the stuff that he prides. Like he wouldn't have his mother. You see what I'm saying? That's the only thing. So yes, if we just gonna keep it, so you were correct about what the lawyer was saying, and I was saying that in this case, yes, the lawyer is correct in these in a divorce period. You can't use that at all. You know what I'm saying? Because at any given moment they're gonna ask, and that's what I was defending. Why he didn't go with his father and say that, because with the living arrangements, he doesn't have what he had in the beginning in New York. That's the only thing I was supplementing to. Not saying that I agree with you. Just trying to say that in this case, he has everything and he built new stuff. He got new friends and he had his mom's. He doesn't have that in New York. If he goes to New York, because that's the whole thing about this trial, where do the kid want to live? Because they're being separated. If they're being separated, where has he been living at? They're going to keep the kid where he's been living at. And that's one of the reasons why they was fighting for the New York and LA type thing. But because he was living in LA, he has his mom's there. He's gotten used to everything in that lifestyle. If he goes back to where his dad is, he don't want to go back to that. Regardless of if they have family and friends there. Yeah. But yes, you are correct. In that sense, I was just trying to add more to that.
Okay, so on another note,
further on,
I was going to talk about Scarlett Johansson's performance, but we kind of pushing for time here.
You might be able to cut it and shorten it to that last revelation part. Or just keep it long.
I mean, we have an hour and 20 minutes right now. Okay, so moving on. I wanted to get to Scarlett Johansson's performance, who did an awesome job, but we can move on to.
I won't add anything else. I'll pick it up on that.
Final thoughts on the movie.
I'll let you go ahead.
Well, pretty much overall, like I really enjoyed the movie. It was very, I won't say heavy and emotional. It really takes you into what it would be like to go through a divorce, with having a child, and and the whole rigmarole of just dealing with the heavy strain of it. Like, I feel like it was well written, well acted. The only real choice of acting was the lady who came over to watch Charlie and his son at home. She was kind of weird. I wasn't sure if that's just how she played the role, or that's how she was. But I mean, I think I get where they was trying to go with that. She would be this weird, awkward lady, Anyway, it was kind of funny, if that's the way that was with it. But it was well shot, well directed. Like I really think this movie deserves it. I don't think it could win Best Picture, even though it does has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very high. Uh, and I'm like best actor. uh, that'd be a tough one. I'm not sure. I'm like I'm not sure when the Oscars come out or if it came out already.
I want to say one of them already came out.
Because the Oscars is, I want to say Oscars is. Matter of fact, I think by the time this episode airs, the Oscars may have be over. So I guess we'll find out soon. One but I think this movie is worthy of the nominations that it got, whether it win anything or not. But overall, I just love this movie, and it's like I haven't personally went through uh or witnessed a divorce, but it kind of puts you right there, and it helps you to understand both parties. On the whole, I used to love you, and this what happened and went wrong. Uh, and how both parties can be victims. So the Academy Award is actually, yep. By the time this is the ninth, this Sunday. So by the time this episode airs, the Oscars will have been over and done with. But well, but wrapping up my thoughts. Uh, yeah, I feel like this movie is, deserves a good watch.
All right, so I had a lot of divorce statistics, but I'm not gonna do them for the time. Not too much sure how much he's gonna edit off the last back and forth, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at some of the best actors. He's pretty much going up with a lot of big actors. Darius, Jaquan.
Joaquin.
Yeah, Joaquin. My bad. Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins, Al Pacino, so Tom Hanks. So good luck.
What movie Tom Hanks did?
Oh, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Mr. Rogers. Yep.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So.
And Brad Pitt. What did you say? Brad Pitt?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
What Brad Pitt?
Mm-hmm.
Best actor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm belayed that. Tom Hanks and Brad Pitt. That's the supporting actor. I'm sorry. It's Jonathan, Adam, Antonio Banderas, and Leonardo DiCaprio. But still.
Wait, what? You was talking about?
Oh, for best actor, it's Jonathan Pryde. For the Two Popes, Adam Driver, Antonio Banderas in Pain and Glory, Joaquin Phoenix and Joker, and Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I don't know. We already talked about the Joker, so
I think Joaquin Phoenix will go walk over that one.
So he got it. Well, if not, too bad they don't have second and third place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can definitely.
How about the best actress?
Best actress. We got Miss Thornton, Renee Zellweger, Cynthia Navarro. I want to say, she was in Harriet, Scarlet, and Little Women, Miss Ronan. So, they got. Sorry, that's Best Actors. She's under Best Actor, Best Actress.
Yeah,
she's not supporting. Well, she got 2 nominations. She's a supporting actress in Jojo Rabbit. Must be nice. So,
yeah, I didn't know she was in that movie.
Well, supporting. So yeah, she might be able to pull this one off for Best Actress.
Yeah, I haven't seen the other movies.
Yeah, I was probably considering Harriet for this point, but we'll see. But anyway, so we can wrap it up. I like to say just everything was good with this. It was nice to see Adam Driver, Johansson without makeup, too much makeup. To me, they made the characters very natural, and everything, and it's very, and it is based on a real, kind of very close home scenario, and I do think this is a cautious tale for people to look at, especially for male and females, to sit down and look at it, before getting a marriage. For guys, sadly, if you do get a divorce, you most likely be going through stuff like this, especially if it's a
Females too.
yeah. But traditionally, most of the women, the dude end up paying half, and he end up paying the lawyer fees too. So that is actually true. And yes, it will work in the female's situation, but most females don't. If they're the breadwinner, they really don't really date down that much. Yeah, I would definitely say it's a cautious tale, even for both. I mean, if you are in that situation, but definitely for guys, just understand what you're getting into and make sure you got your money ready. Hopefully, I think a lot of the times that people don't do it's something the churches do where you sit down and you kind of talk about stuff
counseling.
Like yeah, like the pre-marriage counseling, like those things is things that I definitely would say that you can tell where it shows that communication, and just talking. So definitely, you can see the horrors of a relationship, even though this seemed like it was a good relationship. But you can just see how when the lawyers get involved, and I'm gonna just definitely just put it that way. Regardless of, I know like me and James was going back and forth on who, but technically the lawyers, if you see the lawyers can push for more.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things where I would say definitely for the guys, as in this movie, you will lose, but it's the lawyers, man. It's a money making business, and if divorces continue to go up like this, it's gonna get crazier. So use this movie as a cautious tale to, if you are in a marriage, use it to talk to each other. Bring out some of the points. That way, maybe even sit down and talk about your expectations. If you're in a relationship, this is something that you might want to think about and consider. I do promote marriages because I believe it do build up the economy. But yes, overall, great movie. It's a great movie to sit down and talk about. Is as you see, me and him got heated. So I mean, it's all good and everything, but this is a definitely movie, especially if you're in a relationship, to at least talk about. That's all I gotta say.
So it was something I wanted to add, but I'll probably add it later. But going to our grading scale from $1 to $15, how much will you rate to go pay to see this movie?
I give it 13.
Yeah, I'll give I'll give it 13.50. Which is, I think, around the same rate I gave Joker, I believe.
No, Joker, we both went 14.
We did?
Yeah, I remember that. It was something with the way they filmed the scene or something threw you off for the 15, but yeah.
Right. But I'll give it a solid 14.
Solid 14.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Not once I felt bored of the movie. Like I was engaged throughout all of it. I mean, as a writer and movie fit buff, I am a sucker for those emotional type heavy movies. It's kind of stuff that I also write. Those real down to earth, relatable subjects. Like dealing with relationships and stuff like that. But yeah, the thing I wanted to add was, you know what? It actually escaped my mind. It came like it was something you had said that triggered it, but I don't remember. But oh well. That will do it for today's episode. Like always, give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and also it'd be up here. I probably right here. Go and subscribe to Dream Cloud Films. That's the channel where we post our short films, and also a brief side note on that. February the 15th is our expected dates for that film. So go and subscribe, read the
You
notification.
got a film called That Film?
No, it's about Psychosis. Oh, I mean, Psychosis. I believe I mentioned it before. Psychosis should be released on 15th of this month. So go and subscribe to that channel, read the notification to get notified on whenever a video drops.
Hit me up on Red Ranger 79. I should be having a video dropping soon, pretty soon.
Like as always, I'll put all our links in the description below. It was something else I want to add, but I remember. Oh, if there is a movie you want us to review, let us know. Send a request. You can put in our comics in our comment. You can message either one of us. Just let us know. Or if you wanted to, if you disagree on a movie subject that we did, you wanted to come up here and talk about it, then let us know. or we could debate it in the comment section. But keep it friendly,
Yeah, you don't have to cuss me out when you get on me about this video review. Just say, James, it's time to replace him.
Anything else you want to add?
Nah, that's it.
All right. Well, as always, I'm James.
And I'm Theo.
It's been Film Nuts.